Yo, 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 welcome to another episode of Health, Mind, Body, Life TV, where we have healthy conversations with healthy people. And today I got somebody who I've been admiring from afar, and I've had the privilege to sit down and have a conversation with her to get some inspiration and to also inspire others. She is a local restaurant owner, entrepreneur in my local area, Sanford, Florida. Her name is Shantell.
Hey, everybody. How are you?
How you doing today?
Man, I'm glad to be here.
I'm glad you're here too. I got so much I want to ask you.
Uh-oh. I'm going to answer most of them.
I think just from my perspective, and I think I told you this earlier, you're super cool.
Okay.
All right. You're always in a relaxed mood. You're always smiling. You are living life, and that's what my show I want to inspire people to do is to live a happy, healthy life, right? Because life is meant to be lived.
Happy is healthy. Yeah,
there you go.
Definitely.
And you just seem to be doing it, and it just seems to be easy for you.
Well, I guess happy makes it look easy. You know, that I think that is a light. Happiness is a light, so it often attracts, people, places, things, and, certainly I try to be that light to people. Go, wait a minute, what's going on over there? And if it drives them forward a little bit out of their comfort zone, they'll learn something.
Well, let's learn about you today. So,
okay.
I mean, where did your journey start? You said that you retired at 37.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I'll tell you how the story I feel. First, I'm a mother now of 16 children.
16 children.
And
11.
11.
Your hands full.
Yeah, no, these the hands, feet, elbows, neck. No, I birthed 10 of them, 7 girls, 3 boys.
Okay.
And I had 9 from my first marriage. And at 37, the divorce was final. And I was working pretty hard, just doing my thing, again, being happy. When I got that first child support check, I was like, oh, yeah, we retired. Well, in a sense of, I was like, well, one, that's my little joke I say to myself, literally for the work I had done already and the savings and, good investments between that and child support, certainly I could move from New York to Florida and, not have to worry about working. Besides my little hustle, I wanted to do things that truly continued happiness, So I remember coming down and Sanford had known me for singing mostly because I wanted to do something I enjoyed. So I hosted a lot of karaoke at local Applebee's and various places downtown. And so I'd go there, and it's probably the freezer guy. Oh, okay. In the background. I'd go to, to the Applebee's and plan. Hey, we've recorded. Hey. All right. What was the question?
Oh,
how did I get started?
Yeah. You were telling me about you were hosting at Applebee's and doing karaoke.
Doing some things I really enjoyed. I have figured out a way that they paid me to do it. And I just enjoyed to go and be an extension of their time. And then another part of Sanford knew me for cooking. So I remember La Serena Gorda. I don't know if you remember that restaurant, the Fat Mermaid. Pardon me, I can shut this off.
No, yeah, you're good.
My husband. Hey, babe. Good morning, love you too. I'm recording a podcast real quick. Oh, you good? Okay, bye-bye.
It's all good.
Now turn that down, because it was an emergency. They know how to really reach me. All right, let me make sure I did that right. I got this phone 2 days before I went to West Africa, and it wasn't a good switch.
You don't like it?
I love the phone just to learn a new phone and go to another country where the reception is, somewhat questionable.
Bad timing.
Oh, man. And then to switch all the contacts, and all the contacts weren't switched.
Yeah.
Oh, messed me up. But it was an extra. I always feel I expect a little bit of discomfort, because in discomfort there's growth. Often, growth don't come in you being comfortable. You're familiar. You don't, it doesn't challenge you. So the discomfort I thought I was going to feel in Africa, I didn't expect would come from the phone. So I was like, really? This is I knew better, so
Yeah.
I was mad at myself mostly. But in that, I think we were saying about hobby, doing what you like, and figuring out a way to get paid for it. And that allowed me, getting divorced. Unfortunately, it was very unfortunate, because I was married 16 to 35, 20 years, 9 children. Things just, you went another way. Certainly the trauma through that in terms of children is I think still great. Sometimes I can still see it, through my kids, but
you came out on the other side.
Yeah.
In
People.
a really good place. You landed in a good spot.
Yeah. Hey, I think so. I'm still landing. I still, but the tarmac is very, very long.
So you always keep that modest attitude too. What is that? How did you learn to always look at life from that type of perspective?
Children. I think there's 2 teachers in life you're going to learn from. That's death and children. Death, pulls at your heart they're unexpected. Children do the same, because they test you in things and in ways you're like, wait a minute, and you got to do it. The analogy, when I go home, it's an eagle's nest. I got to drop a worm in everybody's mouth. I got to do what it takes to get that worm, so.
I see what you said.
You know what I mean? Sometimes I cut the worm in half.
Make it work.
Make it work, but knowing that the humbleness, I think, is so far, whether you believe in God or some power greater than you, you've gotten through everything in your life thus far. So what's to say you won't get through the next part? So
just another test that you got to take.
You wouldn't have testimonies without tests.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, it's real. So I'm glad to just be going through it,
So you're from New York?
No,
originally?
I'm originally from Florida.
Okay. Moved to
I was
New York?
born in St. Petersburg, raised in Panama City, Florida. I moved up to New York at 16 on a dare. I was just driving a car up there. I knew I had an aunt that lived there. I didn't really know my aunt, but I was like, man, and 16 in 1990 was like 30. Nobody was necessarily checking ID. I mean, I could get a job without having a Social Security card. It was based on looks, know?
Okay.
So,
and that confidence.
Yeah. Some I don't even knew I had. I don't think I knew I had it. But once I started talking to people I was never, I guess, afraid of. I was really shy as a kid, but once I could get in a conversation, I was just so happy, So, you really start to know somebody, or connect, so they say, So, but I think like I said, kids grew me up really quickly. Being the oldest of 5. My mother had 5 children. My grandmother had 14.
Ooh, so big families is just, that's y'all's thing.
Yeah, man. I guess. And it's too late now if it wasn't.
Yeah, right. That's cool, though. That's really cool.
It is really cool. I know a lot of great people, just, one sibling. But certainly I having the numbers is safety for me, because somebody's always going to tell on somebody. Or when they go to the bathroom in a store, hey, you take your sister, take your brother, So I think they had that, and it was a sense of security to me too. So it worked out well in this day and age of, children. Not to say it's a foolproof, but them having witnesses helped out a lot.
Interesting. So you went to New York and you came back down here at 37.
Yep.
And then you were doing the karaoke, you were doing the cooking.
Yep.
And as far as the cooking goes, you were just cooking out, like having cookouts, or what was the deal with that?
Well, you know, the hustle in me, entrepreneur. Once you are one, you always one. So I remember in New York, I did hair. I was a seamstress. I made candles. I make soap, lotions, body butters. I remember having a card just with my name on it. People were like, "What do you do? What do you need?" It was the most sincere, because I wanted to help. Yeah. I wanted to ease, and I had a pretty decent memory. You know, maybe I didn't organize it properly, but if someone jogged my memory about, oh, I need a mechanic, and I'm like, oh yeah, I talked to this mechanic. So I said, oh, you need a mechanic, and I may not do the service. I had no problem going and talking to that mechanic, and whatever they charge, I probably add about $20 for me doing the work to go get.
So you were wholesaling services.
Listen. And especially if they underbid themselves, because so many times if we find something we love to do and you dabble at this mechanic who, he wasn't licensed, but he was very good. He built this and that, and so he goes, oh, I don't know, I'll do it for $20. No, you won't. You'll do it for $100. I said, I'll tell you what, let me make your price. So I make sure he's under them. Yeah. Because he didn't necessarily pay for the education, but that I had to learn again on my own when I wanted to do the catering business, and nobody had necessarily pans of mac and cheese or pans of collard greens up in New York. But I'd call the Italian restaurant, how much it costs for green beans a pan? And they'd tell me, oh, it's $35. Well, I knew I was going to charge $25, I said, okay, well, I don't have the rent. So Facebook was very new. Let me think. Matter of fact, it wasn't Facebook, it was MySpace. So I remember having a page on MySpace, doing catering, cooking outside the park. Yeah. One of my big events was, and it was just by accident. I knew my husband and I had an agreement that I'd work outside the home, where we would have babysitters when the oldest one the youngest one was 5. I knew at 8 years old I wanted 10 children. I met my husband at that time on Friday. We married on Sunday. Yeah, true story.
You know, I guess.
And 16, I ain't know much. I knew he asked me, and I said, oh, okay. And the next day he's like, okay, let's go. And I go, oh, like now? And he's like, unless you lied. And I'm like, oh, okay, no, I didn't lie. I don't lie. So it was just one of those things bigger than me. Mm-hmm. But one thing about it, although it wasn't necessarily love at first sight, it began to be a respect that this man would every day get up and go to work. And me as a 16-year-old or 17 at this point was...
Sorry to interrupt.
No problem. Yeah.
The key?
Yeah.
To the walk-in?
They said you were going to bring your key because... Oh, you know what? I got some. Never mind. Where's some keys at? Because they said you're going to bring yours, but
watch that.
I got the key in a bag. You see a white bag somewhere? There it is, right over there.
I got you.
You step over that. You didn't bring your key, huh? Okay, no problem. Go ahead. Yep, take that and a key. Yeah, look on there. It'll be the key on there.
I'll figure it out.
No problem.
Thank you.
So
you were hustling for,
yeah, man,
just doing this, doing that, and it
Eagle's Nest,
and it led you here to your own restaurant in Sanford, Florida. Yeah. And you've been here for a minute now, right?
You've been here for 9 years.
9 years, holding it down.
Listen, God don't give the work to the swift. He gives the work to the ones who can endure.
The diligent.
Boom, just all time, just keep and very difficult, but again, learning. Mm-hmm. Learning and seeing the need, and then I don't have to go everywhere too. They can come here, and then we can talk, we can connect, we can make something happen.
Yeah. Like we're doing on August 1st.
Yes.
Crawfish boil. Come through and check it out.
Oh,
Have a good time.
Y'all better come.
Yeah, it's August 1st.
I'm allergic to seafood, but these brothers already know. I love the logo. I don't know if you guys did it. But I told Sean, I was like, Sean, they was just supposed to get a little flyer, $30. That's it. I said, you going all out. You should give it to him.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he did, but
No, we haven't. I haven't talked to him yet.
Okay.
We're gonna handle all that actually this week. But
Cool.
yeah, August 1st, Crawfish Boil, downtown Sanford at 4 p.m. Sunday, reggae night here at Shantell. So we're gonna have
live
music,
reggae,
live reggae,
BYOB.
crawfish, just a good time.
That's right.
Yep. And so
Are y'all gonna do crabs as well, or just crawfish?
I think this time around we're just doing crawfish and shrimp.
Oh, that's not. Oh yeah, okay.
We're just gonna keep
Ooh.
it simple, and see
Sweet,
how it goes.
simple things are hard to do. That's good.
If it goes well, then maybe in a couple months or so down the road we can figure
Oh
it out.
yeah, when the fall come. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
By then, I think I will probably go ahead and get a liquor license.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm thinking about it because my staff, it'll help bring some, some much needed release. Because my concept was it's 9 bars right there, so I make most of my money sometimes between 11 p.m. and 4 a.m. I stay open till 4 a.m. on the weekend. And once they, and they're kind of drunk, they come here, eat, sober up. I'm in walking distance. The chief of police told me, hey, our DUIs went way down when you got in business. I said, well, that's a good thing,
Yeah.
And so they get to mingle, and then white, black, Chinese, Italian, Cuban, so they're right here under one roof. And
That's what I like about this place. I'm all about diversity.
yeah,
I don't like being in places where it's not diverse. Even
it's limited. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who wants to be limited?
Exactly, because there's so much you can learn from everybody, right?
Yeah.
And I noticed that every time I come here, I see all sorts of people in here,
Yeah.
and it's not just the food. The food's great,
Yes, thank
but
you.
there's a vibe always in here. You know,
That's the real food I'm serving.
exactly, and that
real
it's like that southern comfort that you get of just being like around your neighbors or whatever the
Your
case may
family. Yeah.
be. And you get to just enjoy a time in here. You got the music, you
Yeah.
got all sorts of stuff going on all the time. Like I said, you always bubbly and happy.
Hey.
So you,
I'm glad to be here. I'm just like, man, y'all, I said this, I said they rode by or walked by several places and somehow we attracted them, and now they're here, we can learn something, and a lot of times that's so true. We get anybody walking through that door and we're like, wow, how'd you end up here? People from Nebraska, Washington State, Utah, all the places I've visited on my bike, in fact.
oh, that's another thing we got to talk about. Hold on, let me check this. All right. So you are you in a motorcycle club? Or
No, I got my own little, I guess, majority of one.
we're going to get video footage of the bike. The bike is smooth. And, you got your
That's
Shantell
Mr.
doll on the back.
Yeah.
The bike has a name.
Oh, yeah. That's Mr. The one up there is Bruh. Bruh was the red road glide I got.
Bruh.
Bruh. I ride, all my bikes are men. I don't ride women. I ride, I'm just saying.
Nice.
You guys name all Sally or Rosie, Ruby.
Yeah.
It's like, I got you.
The Jeep has a name too.
What's the Jeep
Roxanne.
name? See, that's what I'm talking about. Roxanne. How you do? You don't even understand, right? That's nice. Yes.
So you've been riding bikes for how long?
Since 2014,
Okay. So
my
that's fairly
40th
recent.
birthday. Yes. It came as I saved up money, and being a single mom or single parent after my divorce from 35 to 40, I was like, I'm never going to be able to save up again. And it was looking less and less that would happen. But yet from 2000 or from 38 to 40, I'd saved up about $13,000. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, I want me this Buick Enclave, because the Buick Enclave represented sporty, and I still had 7 children at home, so I didn't like the minivan. It just, they could see you coming,
There's
minivan.
a stigma with it. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I got you.
And I'm like, I'm too sporty for that. But I saved up for this Buick Enclave, and then the restaurant went through some changes. The landlord wasn't doing this or that, and I had to come out of pocket. And my $13,000 went down in 2 months to $3,500. And yeah, man, I was just like hurt. I was like, well, I'm buying something, you know? And all the banks didn't even look at me for that Buick Enclave. And I said, well, I'm gonna buy me a used boat or a bike. I didn't know how to do neither. So, and I knew nobody. I knew a couple people who had boats, but I just knew I was gonna have something to show. And one day on the way home from Walmart, I had 6 of the girls with me, and I did a U-turn. And they said, what are you doing? And I parked right in front of the bike. I thought it was a Harley. It was just, but I had no clue.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, it's got chrome black. Yeah, it's a Harley. Even though it said Suzuki, I thought it was just a Suzuki Harley. You know? And the lady said, it said 3,500 clearly, and I go, okay, well I have that. But, I need money for tag and license, so let me talk her down. She was like, I said, well, you know, would you go down a little bit? She says, you know how to ride a bike? I was like, well, just bring it to the restaurant, you know, and I'll
just park it for me.
But I didn't tell her I didn't know how to ride. I just told her, just bring it to the restaurant, you know, I'll handle the rest. I got a check for you. She says, okay. She brought it. I wheeled it into at the time I was only open about 5 days a week. So it stayed in the restaurant that Monday, Tuesday, when I opened up on Wednesday, it smelled like gas. I kept looking for somebody who knew how to ride it, nobody. So I got on the bike and rode 4 minutes to my house. Second gear. Dude, scared to death. And 2 days later, I took motorcycle lessons on the 12th and 13th.
Up at the mall?
No, because it was bike week. And no place in Seminole was doing it. So I had to drive my van over to Osceola County to get it.
Oh, okay.
That's all right. I got the license. On Saturday, I had elbow pads, knee pads, shoulder pads, had a big bubble coat. I had the helmet. Listen, I remember the instructor saying to me, he goes, wherever you look, you're going to go. And I said, okay. So I had my helmet. I remember people saying, hey, Miss Shantell. They'll be over here. I'll be like, hey. So I think I almost got in like 4 accidents that day. And I was thinking to myself, I'm never going to ride with people. Nah, I'm not doing that club thing. But, man, every day I rode that bike for 4 minutes. It took me to get from my house to here every day. And 6 months in, I had an accident on I-4. I broke my wrist, elbow, and shoulder. And I got up, and 2 months after I got the cast off, I was in cast for 8 months, I rode my bike 48 states.
And now you got a documentary.
Listen, man, God
That's
just...
crazy. So how did that even come about?
When you talk about inspirations or being inspired, I didn't know my development was arrested. I learned about slavery. I was in 3rd grade. One of my best friends was named Sissy. She was a white, blonde-haired girl, my best friend, and we learned about it together. And I remember feeling a way, but I didn't know how to explain it. And so my mom was young, and I said, hey, where's a hero that looks like me? And I remember saying, not Harriet Tubman either, you know? And my mom was like, just watch TV. And I didn't really comprehend. But then when my husband, 6 years ago, bring me this picture here, and I'll show it to you. He brought this picture here to me of Betsy Stringfield laying across her bike.
Show it to the camera there.
Look at that. And it's also, when you get that picture later,
Yeah.
of her, this black woman, and this picture was from 1946. When he brought it to me, I was like, you know, who's that woman? She looked like me. And she did, and I was just like, he said, my husband said, that picture's from 1936. And I go, well, who is she? Where is she? Why don't I know about her? Immediately, my mind went go, so there was someone. And then I wanted to know everything about her. I found out that this woman had 27 Harley Davidsons. Because I knew she was remarkable, the fact that she could lay across this bike like she knew something. And I'm like, you know, and I remember wanting to know. I found out she had 27 Harley Davidsons. She was a nurse practitioner, founder of Iron Horse Motorcycle Club based out of Miami. And she had 6 husbands. That's the only part my husband didn't like. But she did 48 states 8 times in the course of 10 years. as a U.S. Army motorcycle dispatch civilian. At the time, they didn't even enlist women. And she convinced some men that, hey, I can do this. So not only did she have to fight against, in a sense, that stigma, in 30s and 40s, there was a Jim Crow America. So she'd had to have her helmet, her face mask, her gloves. You didn't know she's white, black, male, female. And she had to know how to fix that bike. So what's my excuse of doing anything if this woman could do this? What can I not do? Mm-hmm. And that just drove me at that moment that, okay, I got to do something, because I don't want other girls and boys that look like me primarily, but look like anybody, look like, just having a hero to, when you measure up, if you want to be better, compare yourself.
Yeah.
And if it makes you better, let's go.
You know what I like about everything you just said is that it's not your typical story of inspiration when it comes to us as African Americans, right?
Right.
Society builds you up to think that you have to be a musician or an athlete to be anything, right? But look, you saw this and you instantly inspired. You found that hero that you were looking for.
Yes, and to know she was already there.
Yeah. And
I was like, man, and let me tell you, had I known about her in 3rd grade, I know I would have been a president. I just know that.
Look at that. Because you would have felt like anything is possible for me.
Yeah. Because at 8 years old, I knew I would have 10 children. Of course, I didn't know you had to have sex with men. I thought the stork brought them. I was,
the bird just dropped them off?
Yes, I was the same kid that would say I was running away. I'd tell my mom and I'd pack my underwear because everything else was too big to fit in a handkerchief. And I go, I'm running away. And I put the stick on there and do like the cartoons.
Wow. That's funny though. That's
hey, dramatic, man. Kids in their minds, So
that's amazing. So now, you have 48 states under your belt.
Yeah, twice.
How was that?
Life-changing. Traveling, in general, is very life-changing. Just on small doses.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're out of your element, and if you allow, yourself to be relaxed, you can absorb so much from the things and people around you. You hear some of their life, their perceptions, and it changes you if you're listening. Mm-hmm. And that's often why, although I talk a lot, I try my best to listen more, because listening, what you may say may change my life because I've not ever heard it. So it requires a little bit of patience.
What do they say? That's why you have 2 ears and 1 mouth? You should
say it
listen
again.
Twice as much as you talk.
Right. You should.
I struggle with that.
I think we all do, because you want to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
And who doesn't?
For me, I think it was because I'm the younger brother. So being heard or being recognized for anything,
came last.
Exactly.
You felt, yeah.
Exactly. But
which I bet you're first in the family to do a lot of things, though.
I'm the first male in my family to graduate from college. The first fireman. Mm-hmm. So with that, I'm trying to start, not start, but basically leave a blueprint behind just for, not saying that those who come after me have to do exactly what I did, but if they choose to go down that road, they got a good, example to follow. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I want to be that for somebody one day,
And you already are. Trust me. You are. They see you.
Well, I appreciate it.
I've had a conversation with a young man about you.
Oh, yeah. Really?
Yes, I have. I've used you at least in 3 conversations. Because people, to see you is to believe. There are probably not many girls or women or even men or boys that hadn't, once they seen me, they go, oh. So they had never seen a female riding that motorcycle, this big motorcycle. And then to have a Muppet in the back, I love it. That's mini-me. As long as she don't talk, we good.
Your example, I think, is absolutely amazing. I mean, you are a black business owner, which we don't see a lot of those, and the ones that you do see, we have a tendency of being crabs in a barrel, I think, a lot of times within our community. And that's why I'm like, I want to interview Shantell. Like, if I'm going to go and interview anybody who owns anything, I want it to be her first, because you were one of my first examples of somebody who, like, I'm going to go and support this business. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a conscious effort. It is.
And again, the food is good.
That's good. Hey, good food, good music. Listen, good people.
Yeah, and so our town is growing. It's getting bigger and bigger. There's more stuff coming here, and I'm going to continue to support you and those like you. You know, so
and vice versa. I got to tell you this quick story about when I talked about you. So it was twice. One was a 8-year-old kid who he's right now he knows the Bible back and forth, and so he lives with his grandparents, and so kind of older mentality, but great kid, and so I says, pardon me, what do you want to become when you grow up? And he's like, I'm gonna become a pastor. I said, okay. I says, well, anything else you want to do? He goes, how about a police or fireman? And he goes, yeah, fireman. I said, oh, I got a little guy who's a fireman that comes here a lot, And I had a picture where we took together, or I think you were posing. What was it? Oh gosh, something you were posing. I might have seen it on Facebook. You're posing in front of the fire truck or the paramedic truck or something. Okay. And I showed him that. He goes, oh, okay. And then another guy, 16, who worked here, and that he said he was going to go to Army or to see if he could pass the fireman test. I said, what you mean see if? And so I talked about you again. That was at the time we were just getting ready to do the crab boil. So I said, well, come one Sunday, you probably see him. But so those 2 occasions that I know, and he said he had seen you already, that just people seeing you allows their mind, even if they don't come up to you, to see you in that uniform, they're like, okay, well, if he did it,
then I could do it.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's it.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad that I.
You are. That you've been looked at.
Well, yeah, and just inspiring people.
There you go. Right.
Because I got a lot of inspiration that has helped me over. I feel like. So for me, I have one biological older brother, but I feel like when I was younger, I would hang out with all of his friends. So in my mind, all of them were my older brothers. They always would look. Right. So that's where I gained a lot of my inspiration, and even pushing myself to do things like outside of my comfort zone. It was like I started working out because of them. I would go to the gym, and I couldn't do a pull-up.
I got you.
I couldn't do a pull-up at all, and it was more like, it wasn't always the kindest motivation.
Sure.
But it was motivation
the
nonetheless.
Uncomfortableness.
Yeah, exactly.
Growth.
And so I started pushing myself to be like, well, if my brother can do it, I gotta do it, so I can impress him. So he can, want to.
I'll show them.
Yeah. Some of it was that too. Like, I showed them.
You need a little bit of faith and courage.
Yeah.
In order to fight through it.
Exactly. But if I would have stuck with the doubt in my mind, who knows where I would be now? You know what I mean?
That's right.
But no, back to you.
That doubt in your mind. This is why I came up with this little story right here. It's called "Shut Up and Ride." You let me know when you're finished.
Well, I need to talk to you.
So, had to do a little intermission real quick. She had to handle some business. She is a businesswoman. But hold on now. You have an award in your name?
Yep, named after me.
Tell me about this.
Well, when I did the first 48 states on the bike, I did in 27 days solo. After, riding the motorcycle only 8 months was, I guess a little impressive to them. And then, maybe being a mother that birthed 10 children and being a business owner, they felt like, hey, let's talk about you a little bit. And I'm listen, coming off them 48 states, I was saying hell yeah too. I'm like, yeah, that was hard. And I was saying, okay, I'll never do that again. But I remember day 7, when I wanted to quit, when I was about as black as this shirt, and I had heat rash, and I went from Florida to Maine to Milwaukee to Huntsville, Alabama, Interstate 40. I had either option to go west or go south, and every part of my body and the pain wanted to go south, to go home. It was 670 something miles home, or 670 some odd miles to Oklahoma City. And my mind, God was like, tapped me and says, as soon as you find a reason greater than Betsy's, then you can quit. Oh, I remember crying. And what came to me was just, Shantell, just shut up and ride. Through the crying, just shut up and ride. Never mind what you're thinking. Shut that down and just ride. And I remember the ugly face, the tears, the pain. And so after I did that, and I kind of was speaking to Harley about it, they have now every second Thursday of the month, well, of September, they have an urban bike night, which there on the wall. This was the same day they truly showed recognition to Betsy Stringfield, in a sense of acknowledging, hey, here's a woman of color whom did some achievements that a lot of folks didn't know about, and because you did 48 states, you drew attention to it. And in that honor, we're going to the person that travels the longest distance to come here to our urban bike night. Every year, we'll get the Shantell Williams Mileage Award by Harley Davidson. So, yay HD.
That is amazing.
That's cool. And it doesn't matter what you ride. It could be a Honda, a Suzuki.
Just the
you two or three wheels. You took that ride. Let's go.
So when is this documentary coming out?
Next year, beginning of next year.
2020?
I think 22.
2022. Yeah. Where am I?
Look, where you at? You still want to repeat?
We don't want to do 2020.
Right. We can, some people still ain't woke. Maybe.
No. Still asleep.
Right. I know I did the second 48 states in 2020 during the pandemic, and what happened in 2016 was very different from 2020, but in a more humble way. The gas station conversations, and I'll be able to give you a clip of some of the gas station conversations I had. I got maybe a 3-minute video, because the things that when you connect, rolling up at a gas station in the middle of Winnemucca, Nevada, is very different from what I'd get riding up in Daytona Beach, and the people. And so the conversations are very good, very surprising, very amazing. And so I'm so happy to do this opportunity, and the fact that I got a camera in my face, because I can't tell the story enough about how we are so alike, how we are the same thing,
We being who?
We being people, the TV, sometimes social media make us feel like we're divided or we're separate or we're not the same. But in every sense of the word, we're the same. But, they really convince us that we're different. So people don't come out their homes, so they feel like, oh, well, I don't want to go over there. They do this. And I want to challenge those people. Come out of your comfort zone, because there's so much. And when the moment you do,
everything changes.
The amazement.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Come out of your comfort zone. I like that.
Come on, move out your own way.
Are you pretty religious?
No, I'm pretty spiritual.
Okay.
Religion, I say, makes you almost do a ritual.
It's like a template of how you should be.
And if you need that template, do that. Mm-hmm. But there'll probably come a time that you'll be so used to living that you won't need that template. It's just it frees you. So I think I'm more of a spiritual person. I can fit probably many titles. I can, I don't eat pork. So people say, oh, you're Muslim. Oh, or you don't, do you believe in Jesus? Yes. Oh, well, maybe you're Christian. Ask, hey, I believe we have the same Father.
You just have this great energy about you.
Thank you. So, take one, no one. For real.
Now, what about when you were in Africa? We're going to talk more about this at another time, but when you were in Africa, did you notice the same thing as far as people?
Did. In fact, it was much richer in the sense of, I've seen poverty here in America, riding some of the American roads, and I've seen that some of the same poverty in Africa and Sierra Leone, but I'd see it maybe 2 miles of it here at a time in America, and I'd see maybe 50 miles of it in Sierra Leone at a time. But the one thing I didn't see was, and it amazed me, I didn't see the poverty here. In other words, they were so proud. They were so happy. They were so kind. Their work ethic, it was amazing to me, because I was like, wait a minute. And although the time, it felt like I was maybe around 1984, to just try to compare it, because cellular phone, they had cell phones, but a lot of the phones weren't necessarily smartphones. And so in some parts, but it was good, because to be shown daily of a comparison of how you should be and how you are would probably put you in the mindset of where some of us are here in America, because we're trying to keep up with the Joneses so they don't feel they miss what they never had. And there, they don't miss what they never had, because they don't see it. They don't hear the reminder. So to be there was like, whoa, wow.
That awakened your spirit a little bit too.
Oh, man, it was so rich, because like I said, they lacked material, but they didn't lack the drive, the richness of kindness, work ethic, joy, and people being real close. So I can see how COVID certainly give you a scare to where, and also their COVID regulations were pretty strict, but they were on point. They had a system, they ran it, and within 5 minutes I was here. I think in America I dealt with the airport, and I was there like 3-4 hours. We went through the same amount of people, and I was out on the other side within 5 minutes.
Sheesh.
So they were, everybody doing their part and working together, where, again, I think there were some divisions here we have that can easily overcome just by getting to know each other, So
yeah.
I was real grateful for that trip, That's American Rider. That we have parts of Shut Up and Ride on that documentary, but American Rider, which airs next year as well.
So it's 2 separate documentaries.
2 separate.
American Rider.
Yep.
Shut Up and Ride.
Correct.
All going to be on which platform?
We're not locking into anyone at this moment,
Okay.
but it's
Gotcha.
So being that we can, kind of match, but I think the director, he's got a few things on Netflix and HBO documentaries, so.
Okay.
Wait.
So in other words, wait and see.
Wait and see,
But
please.
just remember the names: American Rider, Shut Up and Ride.
Yeah.
So hey, look, I really appreciate you sitting down and talking with me. We definitely got to do it again.
Hey, let's do it.
The camera angle got a little messed up when we plugged in the seafood boil, so I'm plugging it in one more time.
Yeah, let's do that.
Before we go, August 1st. Do not forget, August 1st, here at Shantell's in downtown Sanford, we are having a crawfish boil, live reggae, whole party, BYOB. It's going to be a vibe. So come through. Come enjoy some time with us. Get to meet Shantell. Get to see the bike.
Yes.
Everything. It's gonna
probably
be
get to
great
ride
time.
on the bike. Maybe I'll do some charity rides or something.
Hey, there you go. Thank you so much again.
You're very welcome, Jordan.
Your story is amazing.
Yours is too. It's the beginning of amazement. So know that you've already, bring that light.
I appreciate
keep it
that.
going.
I really do. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All
Thank
right.
you.
And that's it.